It was just a couple of days ago. It was actually about a week ago. They put out that they're reaching out to central banks around the world to do a private ledger on the XRP ledger, which again is exciting stuff because China, America, UK, wherever else isn't going to want each other to see their private transactions. And there needs to be a bridge currency. And that's why XRP is my biggest hold, and the reason I believe XRP will be that bridge, which will allow CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, to be interoperable with each other.
Hi everyone, just a few words before we get started. First of all, our sponsor, ExpressVPN, the #1 most trusted VPN on the internet. And you can currently get 35% of 12 months of ExpressVPN if you follow the link in the description below. Also, you'll find a link there for my book, Brexit, the Establishment Civil War, which is available to order on Amazon and bookshop.org. Finally, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. Your help is how we grow. So, here's the interview.
Fantastic.
So, hello and welcome to another episode of Chatter. Johnny, Matthew, thank you very much for joining me today.
No problem. Thanks for having me on.
No problem. So, yeah, everyone remember, keep your mics at a nice distance to your face so the sound all sounds good.
Yep.
But, Johnny, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself just before we get started? What is CryptoClear and how did you even get into that?
Yeah, so I've been involved in crypto assets from December of 2015. The first crypto asset I ever bought was Bitcoin, and then Ethereum in 2016. And from there was a bunch of ICO disasters, as we all know. In 2017, many of us got into and got burned. But it was probably about 2 years ago, I had the idea for CryptoClear. And I just went to my uncle and said, look, do you want to deal with all the stuff that I don't want to deal with? The market and the website. And really what we're trying to do is build a bigger and better Coinbase, starting from a different angle. So Coinbase starts with an exchange. We thought, people aren't even educated on what a crypto even is. So we'll start with the education and then a roadmap of 3 to 5 years to filter it up to a crypto exchange, crypto fund, NFT marketplace, which is a recent thing, and many other services. It's real exciting.
So what is Coinbase for people listening and with no clue?
Yeah,
this is the first time that they've heard about cryptocurrencies somehow. But what is Coinbase? What even is the website, and why do you believe that you can make a better product on it?
Yeah, so Coinbase is primarily a crypto asset exchange. That's the sales pitch or the elevator pitch when it was first founded. Obviously now they do institutional grade custody for assets and many other features. And the reason why I think CryptoClear can be bigger and better is just the outlook on the company. I think just because we have a different outlook than Coinbase, I think they've missed a lot of opportunities. I don't understand why they weren't in the NFT craze per se that's going on right now. Again, a crypto asset fund, I can never understand why Binance or Coinbase has never researched that. People are going to Coinbase and saying, look, there's Bitcoin here, but I don't want to buy it. I'd rather just invest it, above board, regulated through the FCA where we are here, or wherever it happens to be in the world. Yeah. But yeah, there's opportunities out there, and really we're trying to fill the gaps of CryptoClear.
So you basically think that they are not filling many of the gaps in the market, or the potential of what cryptocurrency could be as even just a financial asset, and you're trying to make more of that by making some sort of crypto asset portfolio, which would be just for my own posterity, is you're essentially talking about creating a fund, an ETF with cryptocurrencies in it. That's
100%. That would be one of the many services that CryptoClear would provide. And again, that's just a stepping stone. We probably have well over 10 to maybe 12 services that we want to bring about in the next 3 to 5 years, and it's really laser eyes per se. It's relevant obviously to the laser eyes on Twitter. Focus on a few things at a time, max 3, build them up, make them a great service or a great product, get it out to the market, and then move on to the next 3, because if you're juggling 12 at once, it's gonna be trouble.
So what do you find attractive about cryptocurrency? Because I struggle to explain to some people why it's not magic internet money.
Yeah.
Maybe you think it is magic in money. But like, what attracts you to the idea of cryptocurrency, even just broadly?
I think definitely a big thing is a wealth shift. Just there's, as we all know, we're currently in a bull run, in my opinion. But there's some people that have put in, next to nothing, and they've made a small fortune. And I just love that. I love hearing stories like the Dogecoin millionaire on YouTube, seeing that, I know he put in a lot of money. It was like around 200K or whatever, but, it was well over $1 million. I love stories like that. It's an opportunity to, again, shift wealth from the uber rich to the everyday person, which, again, I love.
I agree with that. So, dude, like, it's that redistribution of the wealth. It's crazy. Like, anyone can get in, and it's early enough. Like, you can still make gains.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's one of the attractive things to many people. I was talking to Professor Anthony Muller, who's a professor of Austrian economics at, the university escapes me. But he's based in Brazil now, and he was talking to me about inflation and why he believes that crypto has gone up so rapidly in the past year is basically that America and most of the world has just printed a stupid amount of money, and the cryptocurrency has become this like little valve where like that extra money that's circulating in the system is kind of gone to, rather than just display itself in like hyperinflation in the general sense. But do you really think that crypto is the best way for people to, or well, is it the only way that we now have to try and like balance those scales of wealth inequality for, say, our generation?
That's a tough one, so it is, but I think like it's definitely going to be the future of finance. But like, in my personal opinion, that's how I see it.
Why do you say that? Like, what? Because a lot of, like, I hear this argument endlessly, right? People are just like, well, it's the future of money, and then they don't really go much further into it and explain why it's the future of money. Like, what is it that makes it the future of finance to you?
Well, like the current monetary system, pretty centralized. We can all agree on that. Banks are like in control of everything, pretty much. Banks and governments. With Bitcoin, everything's decentralized, so it is to like a good degree. So that's one positive about it. Then everything also goes onto the public blockchain, which like database / ledger that anyone can see, audit, do what they want with. So yeah, you have a lot better like understanding of where your funds are going, or like you can see where governments are putting their money, or so. Just things like that there in general. Like, I don't know if you have anything to add to that.
Yeah, I mean, just you brought up DeFi. Just for anybody that doesn't know, it's decentralized finance. So as you're saying, at the moment everything's centralized. It's trying to make it decentralized, obviously. But there's just a huge opportunity. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. I think it's BlockFi, or there's Celsius. There's all these ones where you can, convert your pounds into USDC, which is a stable coin of the US dollar. Put it on these platforms and earn like 6 or 9% on your money every year.
Right.
But the thing with these platforms are, personally, I wouldn't touch them.
Decentralized to some degree.
So what are they offering?
They're offering like basically interest. Like you.
Yeah, but where is your money going?
Yeah, I'll explain. Like they're like, you give them like your Bitcoin, they hold it, like lend it. I assume like stuff like that. They lend it out. And then obviously they're making money on lending it out, so you get a percentage of whatever you've given them to like hold. The only problem is like they're a simple body, like they're holding your Bitcoin. You don't actually necessarily own the Bitcoin at that stage.
No, they have custody of your private keys, so you're
so it's not actually your Bitcoin. So say like something catastrophic happens, they shut down, your Bitcoin's gone. Like, that's the problem with it. That's why like DeFi is like such a big up and coming thing, because instead of locking it into like a centralized company like Celsius, BlockFi, whatever, you're locking it into a smart contract. I believe like that's the way it works. Is it's actually verifiable by the blockchain, and like your money's not being held by a third party, basically.
Yeah, and again, it's still having teething problems. Yeah, with these platforms.
Fees,
yeah,
like that there.
Yeah, gas fees are just one of many.
So that's the transaction fee essentially.
Yeah, on the Ethereum network. So like DeFi took off like last summer. Would you say? Yeah. And like obviously that congested the network, and then transaction fees go up because the network's congested. But like I saw something crazy there whenever everyone was moving their Ethereum to sell it in the recent like drop. The gas fees were like per transaction something crazy, like $400. So if you're
What?
yeah.
Regardless of the cost of the transaction, or regardless of the amount of money that you were like sending or trying to sell.
Yeah.
Right.
So say you wanted to move like $500, 400 of that goes to the transaction fee. What?
Well, why would anyone sell at that
Because
point?
obviously there's people that are like moving large amounts of money, and like that's just a fraction, and like it's worth it for them, but like that's what like Ethereum's 2.0 upgrade looks to solve, is the transaction fees through sharding and stuff like that there, I believe.
Yeah.
I haven't looked too much into it, but yeah, they were planning on releasing that in summertime, I believe. That's the date that they've set. Like a soft date.
So there's a software update that's going to reduce the cost of transactions basically, and that's to deal with, because when you say DeFi took off last year, you mean that like the concept of buying into some sort of monetary store, like a cryptocurrency token, whatever, that is not stored or controlled by one central source. That's what you mean by DeFi, right?
Also, as well, just the total value lock. So TVL in the protocols just went absolutely insane.
Which is what is the total value lock?
The total value lock would just be the monetary value in DeFi protocols. I wouldn't know off the top of my head, you know how much it would be now.
No, I mean, like, I was more like, what do you mean by that? Like, what does that term mean? Is so you're saying it's the total cost of the transaction?
Oh, so the total value lock would be the total amount of monetary value in that project or protocol.
Okay.
So
yeah, so like once you lock it in, like to a smart contract, then it becomes locked not there. So it does. So like essentially, like it's the amount of money held in those smart contracts that can't be taken out because it's in a contract for a certain amount of time or whatever. Because when you do like lock these, like staking they call it, like once you lock it into that, like it normally is on a time basis, like you're logging in for 3 months or something like that there. So once it's locked, it can't be moved until the contract expires, essentially. So that's like what the TVL is, and I believe the figure's around 100 billion. I'm not totally certain, but that's what it was, like around the height of it.
Yeah, it's massive.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's a drop in the ocean for what's going to come for DeFi. I believe that DeFi will be absolutely massive.
Yeah.
You know what we're seeing now is
yeah, sure.
Without a doubt.
The like real world applications is crazy. So as like obviously there's teething problems, as you said. Like one of the things just like looking into that I saw was oracles. I don't know if you know much about the oracles, like Chainlink and stuff. Like basically these smart contracts can only access on-chain data, but sometimes the smart contract might want to use like something off-chain. For instance, like who won the presidential election or whatever, and like how do they get that data into the chain to like confirm the contract and like maybe pay out or whatever the contract's goal is. So these act as like a third party and to like gather that information, give it to the blockchain, so the blockchain can then make a decision and then redistribute whatever tokens they need to. So yeah, there's definitely teething problems with that there, and like Chainlink looked to be the leader in addressing those.
Yeah, I absolutely love Chainlink. Link is probably my second biggest investment.
Yeah.
I just think they're
behind Bitcoin, I assume. Or
what is it, sorry?
behind Bitcoin. So like Bitcoin is your biggest investment?
No, actually, no.
What, right,
Yeah.
okay, so then like what are your favorite sort of alternative coins that are not Bitcoin or Ethereum?
Yeah, so XRP would be the biggest one for allocation in my long-term portfolio.
Okay, what is XRP?
XRP is a digital asset. A lot of people think it's pegged to a company, Ripple, but again, Ripple's just one of 130 projects or companies rather that are working on the XRP ledger, and XRP can settle transactions in a mere 3 to 5 seconds. The transactions per second are through the roof, and again, there's a lot of FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt about XRP. obviously Ripple own the vast majority of XRP, and of course there's a massive legal case going on at the moment against Ripple. The SEC is trying to basically say that Ripple is selling XRP under the market as a security, so people have the expectation that when you buy XRP, you're getting equity per se or a stake in the company Ripple, which again, if anybody does their due diligence in the XRP token, Ripple runs 6 nodes or something out of, it's a pretty high number compared to 6 for the XRP ledger, so it's pretty.
So XRP, am I right in saying, is a payment system pretty much? Like that's what it aims to address, is like payments. It doesn't have any like dApps, or does it have dApps built on the blockchain?
Just at the moment, I mean, XRP is used for a number of use cases, but obviously the primary one which people see is because of Ripple. So RippleNet is a technology for financial institutions and payment providers, which allows, again, they have a great service line of credit where you can, borrow the XRP and settle it later, which obviously helps smaller payment providers around the world. But again, there's many uses for XRP. I actually read an article this morning actually that they're thinking of doing NFTs on the XRP ledger. Again, there was a big thing about decentralized applications on it, or smart contracts, but Codius, I'm not sure it was called Codius, but again, it just never came to fruition.
Like, does it have any of those built on it, or is like obviously open to like bringing those on board?
Yeah, I mean, it's primarily the way I would view it from an investor's perspective is what Ripple's doing with their technology RippleNet, which utilizes XRP. It was just a couple of days ago, it was actually about a week ago, they put out that they're reaching out to central banks around the world to do a private ledger on the XRP ledger, which again is exciting stuff because China, America, UK, wherever else isn't going to want each other to see their private transactions. And there needs to be a bridge currency. And that's why XRP is my biggest hold, and the reason I believe XRP will be that bridge, which will allow CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, to be interoperable with each other.
So I've seen, like, in the last 6 to 8 months, a number of different countries be like, oh, we're just going to make our own cryptocurrency, our own digital currency. Like we have, like Britain has Britcoin, which is the most amazingly named thing ever. I'm not even going to like pretend that that's not brilliant.
Yeah.
There's Boris coin.
Boris coin, yeah. Yeah, we should get one made up. Boris coin. Yeah, get it done.
Boris coin probably already exists.
Yeah.
Surely.
Yeah.
I think so of all the meme coins at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but then his like meme ability is kind of outdated. Like he was very much a meme like 4, 5, 6 years ago when he was mayor of London, and he was all about the buses.
Yeah.
The photo of him like on with the flag.
Yeah. I mean, that would have to be the image for the Boris coin.
Yeah.
For sure.
But like, so yeah, we've had Britain suggest one. I've seen Europe discussing it. I've seen America talking about a digital dollar or like a crypto dollar or something in that realm. China are obviously pushing their digital yen. That is gonna, well, they're seemingly attempting to replace Bitcoin, at least within the boundaries of China with it. Yeah. Because I think they've realized that they can't control it. In the same way that they can, and China want to be able to control everything. Yeah, exactly. But how realistic do you think it is to have these countries like minting their own cryptocurrency? Because it's at least like somewhat obvious to me that the reason that cryptocurrency is like specific ones are valuable, like XRP, you've just like laid out why that's valuable as a token or as a cryptocurrency, like what the utility is for it. People like Bitcoin because they see it as digital gold. They like Ethereum because you can go through the different
there's a million.
People like Dogecoin because the meme, like, but all of these currencies have inherently something built into them that people want from the they like the way that the token or the asset is set up. They like the way it performs. They like whatever part of it. I don't see there being a reason for people to decide they're like, well, I did like Bitcoin, but I'm just going to dump everything and go for like the European digital currency. Like it doesn't feel like they have any utility beyond like the gimmick of being magic internet money.
Definitely.
I think like for stable coins, like people want something that isn't going to like be as volatile. I get that. Will it be a country's stable coin, or will it be a stable coin just created decentrally, is the question, really.
Yeah, and it should be noted that central bank digital currencies are not cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrencies are obviously not issued by a central bank, e-money institution, credit institution, so on and so forth.
Are they built on blockchains, the CBDCs? Yeah.
Yes.
But they aren't decentralized?
No, it'll just be completely private to that region or that area of the world.
So they're essentially just minting digital coins, not a cryptocurrency, or that's at least the plan.
Yes,
okay,
yes.
So the way that people are talking about it to like replace crypto is not even slightly realistic then.
And just in my personal opinion, that CBDCs, or rather crypto, will complement CBDCs definitely in the future. I know Christine Lagarde came out and said something about Bitcoin not too long back. Basically, they wouldn't touch it, but JP Morgan said the same thing.
Yeah, so did Morgan Stanley, so did Bank of America, so did the central bank, the European Central Bank, so the Bank of England.
The list goes on.
I mean, the Bank of England are still spreading that serious FUD, telling people that I sent you that article a few weeks ago. The governor of the Bank of England was like, people in crypto will lose all their money. And I was immediately like, oh, shit, I better sell everything I've got.
Yeah.
I mean, like, at the end of the day, they don't want crypto becoming a big thing. Their bank, it's crypto, like, goes against banks pretty much. So I get why they're doing it. But yeah, you just gotta know what's fun and what's not.
Yeah, definitely. And just, on the DeFi thing earlier, banks are probably 15, 25 years behind everybody else. The three of us were sitting in the Bank of Ireland or the Bank of England in a boardroom, and we put our hand up or, volunteered for, a real progressive thing for the bank. And we said, listen, there's this thing called DeFi. You would be laughed at, or I think in the next 15 years, to be crying out for someone that knows about DeFi, because once these protocols are stress tested, resilient, they'll take off. It's only a matter of time before one really, really does take off, and people think to themselves, why would I keep £1,000 in the Bank of England or Bank of Ireland, where we are here, Ulster Bank, and earn 0.1% interest when you can convert it into USDC and earn between 6 and 9%? It's crazy. The banks are in trouble.
The only thing I'd add to that, like staking USDC, is like, obviously there's the inflation of the dollar.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Like 7%, you're like, oh great, I'm getting 7%. But inflation's like 2 to 5%. You're losing that off that 7%. So yeah, like it's something that you gotta consider, but definitely I agree, like DeFi is gonna be huge, and like we've seen it with Uniswap, like how far they've come in terms of like changing that and stuff. So
what do you think the capacity for cryptocurrency to actually replace like fiat money is? Because I mean, because I don't see how it goes down, because I don't believe that cryptocurrency will be banned. Like loads of people are just being like, oh, they're going to ban it, and they don't even know how to regulate fucking Facebook. They don't even know where to start with that. Like, do you honestly believe that you can regulate digital like cryptocurrencies when new ones can be like created all the time? There's so much like different scope in the technologies, the application, the way in which it's like even just transferred between different people, the number of different exchanges, wallet, like there's no way that our class of politicians has any fucking clue how to deal with it, right? So I don't believe it can be banned. What they can do is stop certain businesses using it. Like they could say, well, you're going to get a tax break if you use dollars or pounds. But do you think it's actually possible for it to step beyond money? Like, are you going to say in 5 years' time, be able to say to your boss, I want you to pay me in Cardano, or I want you to pay me in XRP, and then you can sit with like an app on your phone and like go into the shop, pay with your XRP, tip the bartender in Doge. Like, is that actually a possibility that you see happening, or is that like a pipe dream?
No, 100%. I can see it being used as a payment option for sure. Like, we're already seeing it in some places.
Yeah, I agree.
Is that a gimmick? Because I've seen companies saying they're gonna do it.
Definitely. Like, people have used it as kind of a gimmick, but they probably also made money off it. Like, in the future, there's we're still really early on. Like, there's still a lot of things being developed. Like, XRP, for example, can be used for payments. Cardano's got AdaPay. And they're currently working on that to bring on board merchants and stuff. I think Save the Children was the first merchant, so obviously charities can be brought on board. People can donate their Cardano or whatever to the charity. Charity can do whatever they want, sell it, hold it, So it's not something I can see happening in the short term for sure, but long term,
yeah, I mean, I'd be singing off the same hymn sheet. I just think that you will walk into somewhere in the future and you'll be able to pay with Cardano, XRP, Doge, whatever it happens to be. But I definitely do think that the narrative that is being put out by central banks around the world is just a cloud of smoke, per se, which is why they've rushed into the CBDCs, the blockchain, the private ledgers. They're not going to give up. Personally, I don't believe there'll be a world where Bitcoin or whatever replaces cash altogether, or CBDCs. In my opinion, it just isn't going to happen.
It's going to be a diverse ecosystem. People are going to be able to choose to pay with cash, choose to pay with Cardano. I don't think it's going to be one thing takes over. It's not going to be an all or nothing type of market, but I do see it becoming a serious competitor to fiat cash. People are going to have it on their balance sheets. If they're a business, people are going to hold it as a regular person. Maybe in 10, 15 years time. That's my kind of time frame, I think, anyway.
Yeah, best time frame to have.
Yeah, the long term.
Yeah.
In for the long term, for the technology.
Yeah, in for the tech.
Damn hands, man. But I mean, you're also hedging that society is still here in 10 years. Tim Pool always makes the joke that you could get, say, you get 10 years into the future and society's collapsed, and you could be offering a guy what the equivalent of £1 million in Bitcoin would be for a glass of water, but the water is more valuable when the world is falling apart.
Than your Bitcoin.
There's arguments that the rise of cryptocurrency and the cost of price of, say, things like NFTs, which seem to a lot of people, and we'll get to those in a minute, but utterly valueless, is a sign that society has no idea what to do with its money because it's become so wealthy and decadent that no one wants basically anymore, apart, well, obviously there's people in poverty, but the upper classes especially are not struggling. They can't think of things to put their money into, so it's I'll just take this digital squiggle and that's about $100,000, right?
It's a crazy market, so as the NFT market, but I do see as it develops and matures, it becoming a lot better and having a lot more uses. Obviously, in gaming, I think that's one area it could be big in. Obviously, you've got your trading card games and stuff like that there. You could issue digital cards instead of having knockoffs. You have something that's verifiable and real on the blockchain that can't be changed. So I can see something like that coming up pretty soon, I think. Blizzard have maybe already talked about Magic the Gathering NFTs,
GameStop just launched their. No, I'm not joking. GameStop just launched their NFT platform yesterday.
Amazing.
A trading platform, is it?
Yeah, it's so they've minted some sort of token. I need to look more into it. So they've minted some sort of token, but most of it is the idea that they will allow people to resell secondhand versions of digital games.
It's actually pretty smart. So
it's amazing.
That's also the use case that a lot of people aren't taking into account. When they hear NFTs, they hear what's been in the media, which is artwork being sold as an NFT. But NFTs can be applied to anything. You were saying, cars, stuff like that. There, I've heard about houses as well being auctioned as NFTs for they're held by a holding company like an LLC, and then they sell the NFT. Whoever buys the NFT owns the house. Like,
yeah, it's amazing stuff.
and like
This sounds like some sort of tax dodge.
Yeah.
probably is a bit risky at the minute. Like, but once that there like comes into fruition, if it does, like that could be game changing. Like people don't even like have to go through the normal ways of doing like things like that. There, they can just buy it on the blockchain. It's stored. It's verifiable. Like it's there.
Yeah, it's amazing stuff. I mean, just as an example, the two artists that we have in the books at the moment for we NFT art on CryptoClear. So the real thing with NFTs is it gives the power back to the artist.
Yeah.
So it's built into the smart contract where if you buy the piece of art on OpenSea and sell it to me and I sell it to 15 other people, well, the artist can get between 1% and 10% of the sale the whole way along the way, royalties, which is massive.
Every time it's sold.
Every single time.
That's actually something
So-
I didn't know about. That's pretty cool.
Stuff like Marvel and DC.
Yeah.
You know, if you have a Batman painting, you know, or a Batman picture, it's official by Marvel. Or DC rather, you know, I could have triggered a lot of people there. Make sure to correct myself. Batman is DC. But yeah, like DC will love that sort of stuff, and even this is getting a bit, you know, 10, 15 years, but there's a thing that we're looking at the moment, which is digital real estate on decentraland. There's between like
On what? Hang on, right. Before we get real crazy here, because there's a couple of questions I want to ask. So
Yeah.
an NFT is it stands for non-fungible token, and it's essentially like no, you can correct me if I'm wrong. It's some sort of digital asset. Normally, it's been talked about, like you said, in terms of artwork, people creating just digital art. I've seen it like used for people to be able to make a lot of money off the original version of memes that they star in.
yeah.
I've seen people using it to store, like, say, oh yeah, no, that's the original tweet. And
I've seen that.
yeah,
Jack Dorsey's like first tweet on Twitter, like things like that.
yeah. I mean, the Trump ones will definitely be worth a fortune in like 10, 20 years. Or anyone who has their account blocked or cancelled or anything, that like those are going to become like seriously valuable assets. Yeah. Oh my goodness, Alex Jones, his tweets will be worth a fortune. Oh, that's a really good point.
That's a story for another.
Yeah.
This is a big topic.
Yeah, podcast on its own, isn't it?
Like the whole series on Alex Jones.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I just wanted to clarify that before we go further into talking about NFTs. So you're also suggesting there that like NFTs could be used to like make sure that artists get the value of paintings, artwork, anything that they do that gets sold on, like regardless of whether it's a digital or a physical asset, it just has to be like linked to an NFT with a smart contract in order for them to benefit from it. So when you're saying about Marvel and DC, you're basically saying that they can, like someone could have like a mint old comic and then sell it, sell the NFT attached to it, and then they will always get, as long as the people keep using the NFT to resell it, that they will always get like a percentage of it.
Yeah, so it's sort of something similar what happens with diamonds at the moment. I don't know, you know, that there's really different tiers, you know, of quality of people that basically verify the quality of diamonds. And there's just a wee small, I think it's a couple of numbers or a code or, you know, whatever it happens to be, that can either be scanned or inputted, and you can verify that diamond is from X location, it's X rarity and whatever else. To me, I see the physical items like that, but what might seem...
Get the names of the people who died to find it.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, this might seem a bit wacky, but I do think in the future a lot of physical stuff will not disappear per se, but I know it's actually Nifty, not OpenSea. They're currently developing like a screen, so it's basically, you know, you put your art in it. It's a frame, you know, it's a glorified frame. And again, you can just, you know, every 15 minutes or whatever, change the different piece of art you've bought, different cards, whatever it happens to be, sit in your house. And again, this is just all...
I mean, I've seen people talking about NFTs as a friend of mine was telling me that he thinks the main value in it is going to be as artwork for your virtual house when like virtual worlds become more widespread, customizable, easier to create, that people are going to have their like virtual pad and you'll stick on your VR headset and it'll disappear out to it, and they'll be like, oh yeah, no man, no, yeah, that's the original tweet on the like, you know, that was the piece that you know, someone scribbled, and then I got the NFT for it. Like that's the reason for it.
Definitely, like you had mentioned Decentraland there, and it's like one of the first like big one, like virtual worlds, so it's something I could see happening for sure.
Yeah,
you were going somewhere with that. Sorry, I interrupted you. What's Decentraland, and why are you looking into it?
Yeah, so it was back in 2018, the token Mana for Decentraland. That's when I first got into it. And again, I was interested in buying the land on it. But, you know, if you go to buy the land now, near the spawn point, basically the center, you know, you're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars. But yeah, just Decentraland, that stuff's going on right now. You can go to virtual casinos and gamble your money. There's actually a casino in Vegas. It's hiring 12 real life people. It sounds strange to say, to man these casinos, keep people entertained while they're gambling their money. And there's also art galleries. You can do houses, as you say, you know, bring your mate in. Another really good thing as well is you can also integrate podcasts into it. So I've walked into people's houses or lands in Decentraland, and you can go up and press the button, and their most recent podcast plays, which I think is really cool.
Something you need to get.
I was about to say, like, we could be recording this in Cyberspace right now if we really wanted to.
It's really, really cool. And the thing is I don't know the exact number of people on Decentraland now, but the last time I checked, it was like between 6,000 and 7,000 people. And to put that into perspective, there's between 7 and 800 million users per month on Minecraft. So I sort of see the gap there. Yeah, as a target, and I'm sort of, you know, if Decentraland does take off, you know, per the roadmap, per obviously the utility, the use case of it, it's going to be massive. You know, it's going to be huge. You've Nike, Adidas, Pizza Hut, all these big companies doing events on it. And again, you can host
It's all right. Okay,
it sounds insane.
So like we're no, I just want to get like a really good idea of what it actually is. So is it essentially, because in my head it's like a digital like city or place, and like you stick on your headset and it's there all built and you can like stroll about, and like obviously that's maybe not quite what it is.
Yeah, it's
like
close.
what is it like when you log in? What do you get into? Is there just like one? Is there many worlds like RuneScape used to have? Or probably still does have.
So just when you log in, obviously, except for, you know, linking your MetaMask wallet to create, you know, your account and whatever else, you would spawn in the center. And there only is one world, Decentraland, and again, that's why the real estate is so valuable. I think that the cheapest piece that I was looking at that we would consider, because again, it sounds silly, but it's near a main road and close to attractions. It's almost like physical real estate, but the cheapest
location.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's just location. But again, some of the prices for the stuff would blow your mind. Yeah. You know, people are paying thousands of dollars for, you know, a coat on their avatar. But it's coming.
I like personally haven't used Decentraland myself, but I have like looked into it and seen like what's happening there, and like people seem to love it that are involved with it, and like if more people get on board, like it's only going to raise the value of like these pieces of land or like items or like whatever you have like within the community or area. So yeah,
definitely. Binance and stuff actually there's a crypto valley in it. I'm not sure it's called Crypto Valley. Bunch of obviously crypto firms are there, and then you have the casino valley, you have the games valley.
Yeah, I seen the casino. That was like an interesting thing. So it was definitely like you can just go in and gamble your crypto or whatever.
So it's like it's just a virtual crypto casino.
Yeah.
Like, are you wearing a VR headset at all times when you're in these, or is it like on the screen and you're kind of like
virtual based, is it?
Yeah, sorry, I actually forgot to say when you said about that, it's at the moment, as you say, it's only web browser based, and you know, you try to do it on your.
So how do you navigate it? Is it like navigating on like Google Street View basically?
No, it's almost like just a game on the PC, you know.
You use like keys to go back and forward, do you? So,
yeah.
Can you see other people?
Yeah.
What do they look like? What are the graphics actually like?
The graphics have vastly improved.
Okay.
You know, that they're constantly getting better and better. And I actually only watched Ready Player One, the movie, like a couple of months ago, and as soon as I watched it, I was like, this is decentraland. If they can do it right, that's obviously, a grand scale if it does take off.
And it is something they can kind of like build upon, update the graphics and stuff. Like
But I mean, I'm just curious as to where it's at right now.
Yeah, right now.
Yeah, it's in a great place. Right now you can, if you and I were on it, different parts of the world, can have our microphones and talk to each other on it.
Is that like proximity based sort of chat? Like if you're close to someone, like you can hear them, or like how does the chat work?
Yeah, I've only talked to a few people on it. I've just said to people, could you show me your land? And often you have to type it, because maybe they don't have their sound on or whatever. But you have to be pretty close to people, and in the game you're basically, that close to them, you know what I mean? But
is like you have to ask them, do you want to talk, or like is it just automatic? Like, so if you're standing within this distance, you can hear them sort of thing. Yeah, because it's like quite a cool concept, I guess. Like, to have in the game.
Yeah, you could definitely integrate some sort of like clubhouse style of like interaction into it, where it was just like you could hear everything that was going on in close proximity. I mean,
of how big like gaming's becoming, like who knows like how many people like get onboarded if like it takes off. There's a lot of adoption around it. So
yeah, it's exciting stuff, like, isn't it? I think
this is how humanity ends.
We all go into these VR worlds. Yeah, we all go into these worlds.
Where they're like just swimming about on chairs like, in their virtual world. It's like
that's literally what we're talking about creating, though, and it's there already.
Yeah.
Like everything's getting taken over by like AI and robotics. So like there's gonna be a stage where like we essentially like don't have much work to be doing. So like what are people gonna do then? It's like invest in these digital worlds.
Yeah, we're already part. Cyborg, some people say, who leaves their phone at home? Most people carry it in their hand. It's just absolutely insane. Eventually it'll go complete cyborg.
Yeah, then get the chip and the mark of the beast.
Yeah, oh jeez. Yeah, Neuralink it's called, isn't it? Yeah, the
Elon Musk one.
Yeah. Like people are like, no, Bill Gates is going to microchip me, and at the same time,
they're
like, Elon microchip me.
Yeah.
Elon's being open about it. He's like straight up, like, yeah, we're building microchips, like implant into your brain. And everyone's like, because Elon said it, I'm with it. I'm all about
that. I'm reading this book, well, not his book, but a book about him at the minute that I got from a friend of mine. It's really, really interesting. Like listening to him describe, like early on in his career, at least the battle he had to get people to realize what PayPal was going to be. Or at least what the concept of PayPal was going to be. He didn't actually found the company PayPal either. He founded. They merged. He had a company called X.com, which was essentially trying to become a digital bank like 15 years too early. And the investors just didn't see it and sort of thought that this PayPal company was better. They merged. Then eBay came in and bought him out and they offered like 1.5 billion, but like a few years later, like PayPal was valued at like 45 billion or something ridiculous like that, which I mean was probably because of its integration with eBay, and then it's like ease into the rest of the internet. But he shouldn't have paper handed. Although he did use the money to buy or to start a little bit.
He's a genius, isn't he? An absolute genius.
Not a dumb guy, even though like some of the tweets surrounding like energy use of Bitcoin and stuff maybe aren't 100%.
Yeah, what's going on? Like, what is he at? What do you think? Here's right. Okay, actually, just for people who don't know, Elon Musk has been shit talking basically about Bitcoin because he was all up on this Bitcoin. Tesla had bought Bitcoin, and then all of a sudden he came out and said that it was too damaging to the environment. Essentially, like the cost was too high for energy for the transaction fees, and therefore they were looking into different cryptocurrencies to accept with Tesla. And then the market started to tank. China did their big "we're going to ban crypto" thing, and like people basically credit Elon Musk with like having crashed the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency market. So what is he at?
I don't necessarily think he's doing out of badness, but from what I've read, Tesla make a good bit of their money from carbon credits. So the government issues them subsidies or something like that, and that's where a lot of their revenue comes from. So
really,
Yeah.
So are they selling on those carbon credits to other companies?
Yeah, that's what I believe. But like, I assume, cause like there is this talk around Bitcoin and whether like it's like really damaging to the environment or not. Like the government's issuing these carbon credits have probably approached Tesla and said like, you need to like stop doing what you're doing with crypto, or we're going to stop giving you these carbon credits. And that's where I think like Elon then has totally changed his view, because like he has to, or he's going to lose revenue on his company. His investors won't be happy and stuff like that. So that's where I believe it's coming from. I don't think he did it out of malice or anything, but yeah, it just doesn't look too good on him. So it doesn't when he comes into it, like buying 1.5 billion, and then like a few weeks later he's like, actually no, we're not accepting Bitcoin anymore.
He did tweet that Tesla has diamond hands.
Yeah, he did.
They're not actually removing it from their balance sheet, they're just not accepting it anymore. So yeah, but there is kind of reason behind it, and I get that. It's just maybe you should have done a bit more research into like this.
No, I mean, I kind of feel like he knows what the score is, but I'll tell you my theory in a minute.
Yeah,
I don't know about manipulating, but like, well, what do you think? What is he up to with Bitcoin and his tweets about the energy consumption, and what is your take on the whole situation?
Yeah, I think there's a method behind the madness. You know, he knows what he's doing, and he does it in a way that's so clever, because he has such grip over the market with obviously Doge, and then obviously Bitcoin. But you know, it's just crazy that one man, yes, the richest man in the world, but he can move the market so significantly. And of course, you can get into X, Y, Z reasons as to why he done it, but it's just a second guess. But maybe he's done it to get Bitcoin at a lower price. Yeah. Maybe he's put that tweet out, and then Tesla's come in and bought the dip. Yeah.
Or he just bought it himself because he does personally hold Bitcoin.
Yeah.
What do you think he holds more of in terms of monetary value? Obviously, like numbers of coins is a little different.
I don't know. Like, there's a theory that he's like the owner of the Doge address that holds like 30% of the total supply, which would make sense because it only started accumulating around like 2019 sometimes. So like there's that. So I can see him being pretty heavily invested in Doge. Bitcoin, like his personal holdings, I'm not too sure on. It's be purely speculation. But,
Probably a few more than us.
Yeah, come on.
Just a little bit more, yeah.
And what do you think about the Elon Musk?
I think that they have said what they've said in order to hype or create a situation in which he's going to come out with some solar battery linked to Bitcoin mining thing that will suddenly magically revolutionize everything, just after he had this like epiphany that it was really bad for the environment, which I don't think he just realized.
Yeah.
Or is that accurate? If I'm totally honest,
I'd say it definitely is. There's a foundation called the Energy Web Foundation. I can't remember, it's not a parent company per se, but there's something to do with solar energy, the solar panels, the batteries, which is obviously linked to Tesla and Elon Musk. And their goal is to decarbonize all blockchains by 2030. Again, their biggest partner is Ripple. Yeah. Arguably the greenest ledger out there, the XRP ledger. Just, cost per transaction, rather. But again, Bitcoin will turn green. We all know that it's coming, and I would agree with your point that definitely Elon has something brewing.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a few things that he's in talks with quite a few like solar battery and solar companies, and that it seems like they were already thinking about this before they made the announcement, and it just feels like they're setting themselves up. It's like if a company says, "Oh, we're having serious problems with this part of this industry, oh, woe is me," and then they'll create the demand for it, and then all of a sudden come out with the product to fill that gap that they have created by complaining about it. And it just feels like that they've set themselves up to. I mean, this could be pure like utter trash. I could be talking about my ass, but
there's definitely like that angle behind it. Because I've seen like some articles about him and like Michael Saylor, like another guy who's like pretty heavily invested. having discussions about this. So yeah, it's something that like I can see him doing, especially with his companies in renewable energy. Like it benefits him.
Yeah, of course it does. And I mean, it also, like, if anything, this is the moment with China banning it. And the biggest problem that a lot of people had was that China gets a lot of their electricity from coal power plants in there, both not particularly well run and generally not good for the environment anyway. And this was basically a lot of people's complaint. And now that China have banned it, it seems like it's totally in the ballpark of the people who are pushing that kind of technology to go, hey, now is the moment to go and sort these issues out and like deal with it, because it feels like we're in a moment where they could make a lot of money from that kind of announcement, and I would be shocked if that was on their minds as well, because if me, an idiot, has considered it, I guarantee they have thought of it.
It's definitely on the table for sure. But like another thing to be kind of clear on is it's only proof of stake does use like electricity, but just not to the same degree as proof of work. Am I right in saying?
Yeah, 100%.
Like proof of work is like where you actually have to mine the coin, and like there's obviously loads of these different protocols. Like proof of stake's like the second biggest, I'd say, where like you stake your coins and that secures the network. But with Bitcoin, proof of work is your computer doing. Well, it used to be computers. Now it's more like specialized miners that do it, but they like crack cryptographic code basically, or like a mathematical equation, and that's how the block's produced, and that's how it's secured. But obviously there's a lot of electricity goes into that, and that's why it's got all these environmental issues raised about it. So yeah, it's not every blockchain that's like that. Like there are blockchains out there that don't consume like even a fraction of what Bitcoin does. I think Doge is actually proof of work because it and Litecoin are merge mined. So not Doge.
Oh, really?
It definitely should be noted that the thing that's coming out of China at the moment, we all know anyway that this has been a narrative that's been replayed for years. The same with India. I don't know how many times China's come out and said that they're going to ban Bitcoin.
The articles and everything, very much like every time there's a bill run, it's like, oh, China are going to do this, China are going to do that.
It's a narrative.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you think China owned a lot of cryptocurrency until this recent crash, bear market, however you want to describe it? Like, is the big dip being caused by China offloading all their crypto in an attempt to then create their own one, or is it completely unrelated?
I don't know if like the government would be that open to like actually buy Bitcoin or like other cryptos. But yeah,
it doesn't have to be specifically. This is the problem with China as well. Like they could just be instructing a few investment firms to do it through the CCP and just be like, yeah, do that.
Yeah.
And they're kind of obligated to.
Yeah, do it or else. Yeah,
pretty much.
Definitely, like it's a possibility for sure. But yeah, I think that the main angle of all this is definitely the digital yen. Like they want that to be the big thing over there. They don't want like people being able to use like things that potentially like skew who they are or whatever. Like they want to know exactly who you are, where you are, when you are, like all that. So
yeah, I mean China's a bit scary. But so before we wrap up here, is there anything you'd like to add, and or predictions you'd like to make for the rest of the year and crypto?
Yeah, I'll go. Just I'm pretty open that I'm extremely bullish on the crypto assets that I invest in for obvious reasons. I think sort of in the next 10 to 15 years, again, like to think longer term, you'll see Bitcoin at 7 or 8 figures in value.
Yeah, I'd agree. Like in the long term, like if we're talking 10 years, 100%, like it's definitely going to be huge. In the short term, as in this year, kind of like uncertain at the minute. I think like it's going to go up again. Potentially, like if we do break like the 60,000 and go above that, I can see it going to like 100,000 USD, maybe like a bit above that. But if we drop below like support lines, like serious support lines, then could be like a bear market for a few years. But like the thing is, like, if you're in for the long term, it doesn't matter. You buy the bear market and just forget about it until we have like a big run again.
Yeah, but I know September's a date that's been thrown around quite a lot.
Yeah.
That's just due to, you know, past market history. A lot of people have predicted the Bitcoin, and again, you're spot on.
Summer's altcoin season, right?
Yeah. The number is 100k, you know, in and around sort of September, and then people think if it lasts into sort of winter per se, it'll last another couple of months. But again, if you're in it for the long term, you've nothing to worry about bear cycles, you know.
Exactly.
People take,
Buy and hold.
Yeah.
All time in hands.
Yeah.
But yeah, gentlemen, thank you very much. It's been a lot of fun. First time doing a three-way podcast in person in our hopefully new venue. So everyone check out Lawrence Street Workshops. They do lots of cool stuff, recycled furniture, art exhibitions, loads of stuff. Check it out. That's where we are. Thanks, guys.
Fantastic. Thanks for having me on.
No problem.
Thanks for making it all the way to the end of the podcast. Don't forget our sponsor, ExpressVPN, and my book, Brexit, The Establishment Civil War, can both be found in the links in the description below. And also, please like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. It's the best way to help us grow. Until next time, thanks for listening.